HOA demanded I mow my lawn, so I installed turf with my face on it visible from the sky. The letter arrived on a Tuesday, crisp and officious, sealed with the Karen Hills Homeowners Association crest like it was a royal decree. I tore it open, expecting another reminder about garbage bin placement, but instead, it was a demand. Mow your lawn within 48 hours or face a $500 fine. My lawn wasn't even that bad, just a little shaggy, like a dog overdue for a trim. But the HOA, led by the indomitable Karen Whitaker, had spoken. I could almost hear her nasal voice through the ink. Standards, Mr. Delaney, standards. I stood on my porch, coffee cooling in my hand, staring at the offending grass. It swayed mockingly in the breeze, as if daring me to comply. I wasn't a rebel by nature. I paid my taxes, waved at neighbors, even recycled sometimes. But something about Karen's tone, her relentless crusade to make our cul-de-sac a sterile postcard, lit a fuse in me. I wasn't just going to mow my lawn. I was going to make a statement. By Wednesday morning, I'd hatched a plan so absurd it felt like genius. I called my buddy Nate, who owned a landscaping business and owed me a favor after I bailed him out of a bar fight in '09. Nate, I said, how hard is it to install artificial turf? He laughed, thinking I was joking, but when I explained my vision, his voice dropped to a reverent whisper. You're a madman, Jack. I'm in. The idea was simple. Replace my lawn with turf, but not just any turf. I wanted my face, me grinning, defiant face etched into it, so big it'd be visible from the sky. Google Earth would immortalize my middle finger to the HOA. It was petty, sure, but it felt like justice. Karen wanted a perfect lawn. I'd give her perfection, with a side of Jack Delaney's smirk. Nate showed up that afternoon with a crew, a truckload of synthetic grass, and a drone to map the design. My neighbor, Mrs. Gupta, peered over her fence, her eyes wide. Jack, what are you doing? She asked, clutching her pruning shears. I winked. Art, Mrs. G, pure art. She shook her head but smiled, like she knew I was spiraling but couldn't look away. By dusk, the old lawn was gone, ripped up like a bad memory. The crew worked fast, laying the foundation for my masterpiece. I stood there, hands on hips, feeling like a general overseeing a battlefield. That's when Karen appeared. She marched across the street, her sensible loafers clicking, her clipboard clutched like a shield. Mr. Delaney, she snapped, what is this atrocity? I leaned against a shovel, all casual. Just following your orders, Karen. New lawn, coming right up. Her eyes narrowed, scanning the bare dirt. She didn't know about the face, yeah, that was the ace up my sleeve. This better be regulation compliant, she huffed, scribbling something on her clipboard before storming off. I saluted her, retreating back, grinning like a kid who'd just pulled off a prank. That night, I barely slept. I kept picturing Karen's face when she saw it, me giant, turf-carved mug beaming up at her from my yard. I imagined her choking on her decaf latte, her HOA minions scrambling to find a bylaw to stop me. It was glorious. Thursday dawned bright and vengeful. Nate's crew was back at 7 a.m., rolling out the turf. The drone buzzed overhead, guiding the cuts for my portrait. I'd sent Nate a selfie, grinning, one eyebrow cocked, pure defiance. He'd laughed so hard he nearly crashed his truck. This is gonna be legendary, he said, clapping me on the shoulder. By noon, it was taking shape. From the ground, it just looked like a patchwork of green, but Nate showed me the drone footage, and there I was, Jack Delaney, 50 feet wide, smirking from ear to ear. The crew cheered, high-fiving like we'd just won the Super Bowl. Even Mrs. Gupta, who'd been watching all morning, clapped from her porch. Your trouble, Jack, she called, but her grin said she loved it. That's when the twist came, not the one I'd planned, but the one I never saw coming. A beat-up Honda Civic rolled into the cul-de-sac, parking in front of my house. Out stepped a kid, maybe 19, 20, lanky, with a mop of dark hair and glasses too big for his face. He looked nervous, clutching a manila envelope. Are you Jack Delaney? He asked, glancing at the turf chaos. Yeah, I said, wiping sweat from my brow. Who are you? He hesitated, then thrust the envelope at me. I'm Ethan. Ethan Whitaker. Karen's my mom. My stomach dropped. Karen's kid? I didn't even know she had one. She'd moved here 2 years ago, a widow with a vendetta against untidy hedges, but she'd never mentioned a son. I need to talk to you, Ethan said, his voice low. It's about her. I took the envelope, my turf triumph suddenly feeling less triumphant. "What's this?" I asked, but he just shook his head. "Read it, please, before you finish this." He gestured at the half-done face in my yard, then turned and walked back to his car. I watched him drive off, the envelope burning a hole in my hand. Nate called me over, oblivious. "Yo, Jack, we're ready for the final layer. You want to see the drone feed?" I nodded absently, stuffing the envelope in my back pocket. I told myself I'd read it later. Whatever Karen's kid wanted, it could wait. I had a lawn to finish. By 4 p.m., it was done. My face gleamed in the sunlight, every blade of fake grass perfectly placed. Nate's crew took selfies in front of it, laughing so hard they were crying. Mrs. Gupta brought out lemonade, toasting to the ugliest lawn in Karen Hills. Even old Mr. Peterson, who never left his house, shuffled out to gawk. "You're nuts, Delaney," he croaked, but his eyes twinkled. I was on top of the world until Karen showed up. She didn't walk this time. She charged, her face redder than a stop sign. "What have you done?" she shrieked, pointing at my turf visage. Neighbors peeked out their windows, sensing a showdown. I crossed my arms, ready to savor her meltdown. "It's a lawn, Karen," I said, all innocent. "Mowed, maintained, HOA compliant. What's the problem?" Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. This is vandalism. It's obscene. I'll have you fined, sued, evicted." She was practically vibrating, and I'll admit, it was hilarious until I saw her eyes. They weren't just angry. They were wet. Karen Whitaker, queen of the clipboard, was on the verge of tears. I faltered. "Hey, it's just a joke," I said, softer now. "No need to." "You think this is funny?" She cut me off, her voice cracking. "You think any of this is funny?" She jabbed a finger at my house, my lawn, my stupid, grinning face. "You don't know what she stopped, swallowing hard, then turned and walked away, her shoulders hunched. The cul-de-sac went silent. Nate shifted uncomfortably. Jack? Maybe we went too far." Mrs. Gupta looked at me, her earlier amusement gone. Even Mr. Peterson shook his head before shuffling back inside. I stood there, the hero of my own story, suddenly feeling like the villain. That night, I sat on my couch, the envelope from Ethan staring at me from the coffee table. I'd avoided it all day, but Karen's almost tears kept replaying in my head. What did I miss? Why did she look so broken? I grabbed the envelope and tore it open. Inside was a letter, handwritten, and a folded newspaper clipping. The letter was from Ethan, dated a week ago. My hands shook as I read. "Mr. Delaney, I know you and my mom don't get along. She's tough, I get it. But there's stuff you don't know. She wasn't always like this. Before Dad died, she was different, funny, kind. The mom who'd sneak me ice cream before dinner. The HOA thing. It's not about power. It's about control. After Dad, she lost everything, her job, her savings, her hope. Keeping this place perfect is all she has left. I'm not saying she's right. She's been awful to you, and I'm sorry. But your lawn thing, it's gonna crush her. I saw the drone footage online. It's already going viral. Please, just talk to her. Or at least read the clipping. Maybe you'll understand. Ethan." The clipping was from a local paper, 3 years old. The headline hit me like a punch. "Local man dies in tragic landscaping accident." Karen's husband, Tom Whitaker, had been a gardener. He'd been mowing a client's lawn when the mower flipped on a slope, killing him instantly. The article mentioned his widow, Karen, and their son, Ethan, left behind. I sat back, the room spinning. Karen's obsession with lawns, her clipboard tyranny, it wasn't just petty control freak nonsense. It was grief, twisted into something unrecognizable. And I'd just turned her pain into a giant, grinning joke visible from space. I wanted to throw up. I'd spent days plotting my revenge, cackling like a cartoon villain, and the whole time, I'd been kicking someone who was already down. But what could I do now? The turf was laid, the internet was buzzing, and Karen was probably drafting my eviction notice. Then I heard a knock at the door. It was Ethan, standing under my porch light, looking like he hadn't slept in days. "Did you read it?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, my voice hoarse. "I didn't know." He nodded, staring at his shoes. "She doesn't talk about it. Ever. But she's not okay, Mr. Delaney. And this," he gestured vaguely toward my yard. "This might break her." I didn't know what to say. I'd started this war with Karen thinking it was a game, a battle of wits with a busybody neighbor. But it wasn't. It was real, and I'd gone too far. What do I do? I asked, feeling like a kid confessing to breaking a window. Ethan sighed. I don't know, but maybe start by talking to her. Really talking, not fighting. He left, and I stood there, the weight of my own stupidity crushing me. The turf face in my yard wasn't a triumph anymore. It was a monument to my failure to see the human behind the clipboard, to choose kindness over a cheap laugh. I had to fix this, but I had no idea how. The next morning, I woke up to chaos. My phone buzzed like an angry hornet, notifications piling up from neighbors, friends, even strangers. The drone footage of my turf face had hit the internet, racking up thousands of views overnight. Reddit threads called me a lawn legend. Twitter story swaths ablaze with memes of my grinning mug. Someone had even started a petition to make my yard a protected landmark. I should have been thrilled, but all I could see was Karen's tear-streaked face and Ethan's tired eyes. I dragged myself to the kitchen, brewing coffee strong enough to wake a coma patient. The envelope from Ethan still sat on the counter, the newspaper clipping peeking out like an accusation. I had to talk to Karen, but what do you say to someone you've publicly humiliated? Sorry I turned your grief into a viral prank. Didn't exactly roll off the tongue. By 9 a.m., I was at her doorstep, heart pounding like I was facing a firing squad. Her house was pristine white picket fence, roses trimmed to perfection, not a blade of grass out of place. It was a shrine to control, and I'd just spray-painted a clown face on it. I knocked, half hoping she wouldn't answer. She did. Karen opened the door, her face pale, eyes red-rimmed. No clipboard this time, just a woman who looked like she'd been fighting a war I didn't understand. What do you want, Jack? Her voice was flat, like she'd already given up. I'm sorry, I blurted. I didn't know about your husband. I didn't know any of it. The words felt clumsy, inadequate. I was just messing around, and I took it too far. She stared at me, her expression unreadable. Then she laughed, a sharp, bitter sound that cut deeper than her anger. You think an apology fixes this? You turned my life into a joke. Everyone's laughing at me, Jack. Everyone. I didn't mean, I started, but she cut me off. You never mean anything, do you? You just do whatever makes you feel clever. She shook her head, stepping back. Get off my porch. The door slammed, and I stood there, the weight of her words sinking in. I'd thought I was the hero, sticking it to the HOA tyrant. But I wasn't. I was the guy who'd kicked a widow when she was down, all for a laugh. Back home, I called Nate. We need to rip it up, I said. The turf. All of it. He groaned. Jack, we spent 2 days on that. It's a masterpiece. It's a mistake, I snapped. I'm not asking. I'm telling you. Get your crew over here. Nate grumbled, but agreed. By noon, his team was back, tearing out my giant face like it was a bad tattoo. Mrs. Gupta watched from her porch, her lemonade pitcher untouched. You're doing the right thing, she called, but her voice lacked its usual warmth. Even she was disappointed in me. As the crew worked, Ethan showed up again, this time with a backpack slung over one shoulder. He looked at the half-dismantled lawn, then at me. You're taking it down? He asked. Yeah, I said, kicking a clump of dirt. I messed up. I'm trying to fix it. He nodded, but his eyes were distant. She's not okay, you know. Mom. She saw the videos. People are calling her Lawn Karen now. She won't leave the house. My stomach twisted. I'll talk to her again. I'll make it right. Ethan shook his head. It's not just you. It's everything. She's been holding it together for so long, and it's like the last straw. He paused, then pulled a small photo from his backpack. It was Karen and a man Tom, I assumed smiling at a park, Ethan between them, maybe 10 years old. They looked happy whole. This was her, he said softly. Before. I took the photo, my throat tight. I didn't know, I said again, hating how useless it sounded. You didn't ask, he replied, not cruelly, just stating a fact. He turned to leave, then stopped. She used to love gardening. Her and Dad. They'd spend hours out there, planting, laughing. Now she can't even look at a lawnmower without. He trailed off, shrugging. Just thought you should know. He walked away, and I stood there, the photo burning in my hand. The crew finished by dusk, leaving my yard a patchy mess of dirt and regret. The internet didn't care, though. The memes kept coming. The views kept climbing. I was a hero to strangers, a villain to the one person who mattered. That night, I sat down and wrote a post for X. Not a meme, not a jokey, a confession. I told the whole story. The letter, the turf, my stupid plan to one-up Karen. I told them about Tom, about Ethan, about the woman I'd turned into a punchline. I didn't expect it to go viral, but I needed to say it. I was wrong. I hurt someone, and I'm sorry. I hit post and shut off my phone. The next morning, I woke to a quieter world. The notifications had slowed, replaced by comments, some angry, some sympathetic, some just confused. But one stood out, a message from Ethan. Thanks for the post. Mom saw it. She's still mad, but she cried. Good tears, I think. Maybe call her tomorrow. I didn't call. I went over instead, armed with nothing but guilt and a half-baked plan. Karen answered the door, looking wary but less broken. What now, Jack? She asked. I want to fix it, I said. Not just the lawn. Everything. I was an idiot, and I'm sorry. Let me help. She didn't invite me in, but she didn't slam the door either. Help how? She asked, crossing her arms. I don't know yet, I admitted. But I'm thinking maybe a garden. Not for the HOA, not for rules. For you. For Tom. Her eyes widened, then narrowed. Don't you dare use him too. I'm not, I said quickly. I saw the photo. Ethan told me you loved gardening. I want to help you get that back. If you'll let me. She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no. She just nodded, a small, tired gesture, and closed the door. The next week was a blur. I roped Nate into helping, and we started smell a flower bed in my yard, then Karen's. She didn't join us at first, just watch from her window, but one day, she came out, gloves on, kneeling beside me in the dirt. You're doing it wrong, she said, snatching a trowel. Roses need space to breathe. I grinned. Yes, ma'am. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start. The neighborhood noticed. Mrs. Gupta brought seedlings. Mr. Peterson donated a bench. Even Ethan showed up, hauling bags of mulch like he was born for it. The cul-de-sac started to bloom, not with HOA-approved perfection, but with something realer, messy, colorful, human. But life isn't a sitcom, and not every story gets a neat bow. A month later, I got a call from Nate. Jack, you gotta see this. He sent me a link to a new ex-post drone footage of a lawn in a neighboring town. Another face, not mine, grinning up at the sky. The caption read, inspired by lawn legend Jack. Who's next? My heart sank. I'd started a trend. People were ripping up their lawns, turning them into giant memes, all because of me. The HOA was in chaos, issuing fines left and right, but the internet was eating it up. Karen saw it too. She didn't say anything, but I saw the tightness in her jaw, the way she gripped her trowel a little too hard. I tried to stop it. I posted again, begging people to quit, to leave the lawns alone. But the internet doesn't listen. It's a beast, and I'd fed it. Karen stopped gardening with us. Ethan said she was back to locking herself in, her clipboard abandoned. The flowers we'd planted started to wilt, like they knew. One night, I found Ethan sitting on my porch, staring at the stars. She's moving, he said quietly. Says she can't stay here, not with everyone laughing at her. I felt like I'd been punched. I'll talk to her. No, he said, standing. You've done enough. He walked away, and I didn't stop him. What could I say? I tried to fix things, but I'd broken them first. My big, stupid stunt had cost Karen her home, her peace, maybe even her son's trust. The moving truck came a week later. I watched from my window as Karen packed up, her face blank, Ethan trailing behind her. I wanted to run out, to beg her to stay, but I didn't. I'd lost that right. The cul-de-sac felt empty without her, like the heart had gone out of it. My lawn is grass again now, plain and boring, the way the HOA likes it. But every time I mow it, I think of Karen, of Tom, of the garden we almost built. I think of Ethan's photo, of the woman who loved roses before the world broke her. And I think of my face, grinning up at the sky, a joke that wasn't funny. I don't know if I was wrong to fight the HOA, to push back against Karen's rules. Maybe she was too controlling. Maybe I was too reckless. All I know is, we both lost something, her. A home. Me. A chance to be better. The internet moved on, but I'm still here, mowing my lawn, wondering if I could have done it differently. What do you think? Was I right to make a stand, or was I just a jerk who went too far? Share your thoughts. I am listening.